Welcome everybody to this week's episode of Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong, along with
Back in the day, Flute Dog.
Luke Dog.
With the echo.
I know, I keep in too, bro.
Nah, but I'm saying when you said that with the echo, it's like
Oh,
Mojo.
I got you.
And you thought you was in the canyon?
Yeah. I'm gonna get rid of it in a second, man. Just a little bit more. Welcome to this week's episode of our podcast. You know, going 4 years strong. I wish I'd numbered them, but you know, it wasn't that I was lazy, but you know, the action pressure packed, getting the three of us getting our things together and putting it together and giving you this great product. We forget things. We just forget them. You know what I'm saying?
I want to try to match your energy, bro. But I don't think. I think we got it. I think we good. The energy, man. We got it together.
No,
People
I'm talking about numbering the episodes. I keep forgetting those.
You said 4 years?
About
I think we might.
4.5 years.
I think we working on 5, bro. To be honest with you.
Yeah, about 4.5 years. You're right.
It's hard enough for me to remember when I met it, man. So, but how many shows we got? I can't help.
I write everything down.
Yeah.
Hey, remember those date books, man? You had to put when you was in college, you had to put all your classes in and all that.
Or it was the organizers. Yeah, man.
I'm still writing my shit down, bro.
Look, you know, your sister-in-law was an engineer. She lived and died by her organizer, bro.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's how I got through college, bro.
Got another text from our source.
Our source.
That's why I tell you that our source don't really watch things. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, how was your day, Jaquari Armstrong?
It was okay, man. I had a rough, restful week, I guess I would say, man. I took sick Wednesday, you know, so I ended back to work since Wednesday and whatever, man. And I got a summer cold going on. Just, you know, I'm feeling all every bit of this 53 years old.
In other words, the struggle.
And that's something.
Damon Armstrong, how was your day today?
Man, other than my grandbaby and my wife, I was on the wrong side of the damn bed, bro. You know what I'm saying? I woke up on the wrong side, and my wife looked at me and said, "Don't start that shit, man." What you mean? All right, I'm gonna go back here and go to work. Deal with your issues, man.
Well, it's good. Somebody.
You need somebody in your life to keep. You need somebody to keep you humble, bro.
Yeah. Look. You need somebody to let you know that you're gnashing your teeth.
Hey, look at her. She don't even talk. She just say, "Mm-mm, we're not doing it today."
Yeah. Okay. So you went first, right, Damon, or did you Jaquari? No, Damon.
Jaquari went first.
Yeah. Okay.
My day was good, man. I was with my grandbaby, man. Bro, she was reading to me.
Okay.
In a Disney book, man, that does not own a kindergarten level. She was reading it, and I was like, "Oh, I got plans for you." You know
Wait till they get a load of us.
Hey, sounding out big word. I'm like, wow, I'm impressed, man. You know what I'm saying? Give me some latitude, man. Allow me to be impressed, man.
Oh yeah, always. We gotta be. Look, it's our right to be impressed with our children and our grandchildren. And if you're blessed, being impressed with your great grandchildren. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're 45. No. Oh, Lord have mercy. But it's been an interesting week, guys. You know, let's just start off with something simple to get the momentum going. And it ain't too deep, but it's a really, you know, it's a question I'm sure you can answer. Have you ever, Joseph Green, what's going on, brother? This is former Pitt man, one of the good brother, man, good brother. You know how when you meet somebody years from, you know, in the past and they still got the same energy, that's this man right here. Joe, welcome to the show, brother.
Welcome, brother.
We're gonna have you on soon. So just nice and simple. Where did you get your pride? And it could be a number of sources, but where did you get your pride as a man from? So I can name the easy ones just to give you guys an idea. From our father, our grandfather, our uncles, friends of the families. They contributed little bits, right? Then living life, working myself through life, that solidified what they gave me.
Yeah, I could agree with that, man. You know, I got a deep well of pride, you know, from pops and everything, man. You know, just about self-image and how the perception I had of myself, man, you know, was gleaned from those around me and everything, and that's how we supported each other.
Okay.
But I got the pride from him and Ma, and like you said, grandma, both grandmothers, aunts, uncles, and everything, man. But my humility came the trials I had to go through to kind of stiffen that pride. You know what I mean? I was told, you know, you walk into a room and you know a certain way you conduct yourself, and it was natural. It wasn't natural to me, man. You know, so me putting myself out there and introducing myself, man, and just interacting with people instead of just playing back. You know, that had to be developed through pride. You know, I've always had something to say. And it's just me trying to figure out the best avenue in which to present it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Before you go, Damon, I also want to say a couple dope things showed me how to stand 10 toes. You know what I'm saying? Damon, what do you think?
Well, you know, when you asked the question, I was thinking because you can see pride as, for lack of a better statement, a negative connotation.
No, but
understanding where you coming from.
But now he just brought that little caveat into it. But what I want you to answer.
I did that.
Where do you think?
I think two go hand in hand. That's gonna be.
Yeah, no, they do. But what I want you to start with the core. Where did you learn how to be the man that you are today? What pieces came? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I can echo the same things that Corey was saying. You know what I'm saying? I totally get it, man. Because you know, if you feel good about where you come from and you echo it and you live it, then there's a lot of pride in that. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we can get to the negative aspects of it in terms of what you learn, where you gain wisdom.
Okay. When it comes to, because you know, manhood has so many facets. It's all encompassing because there's different segments of what we personally feel with manhood, and then the universal thing, right? Have you ever had felt the need to prove your manhood to someone? Now, I'm talking about in our youth now, when we was learning, you could do that, or if you want adulthood, but have you ever felt and also made sure you proved your manhood to somebody? Because that's where pride comes in too. You know what I mean?
I personally think, man. Go ahead, bro.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I personally think, man, that there are certain things happening in your life, man, where you have to stand on something. You know what I'm saying? Somebody trying to punk you, take your manhood or whatever. Same thing. Don't mean to be redundant, but there are certain aspects in your life where you have to stand on something for you. Hey, bro, there's a lot of echo on.
No, we can hear you. Just be patient. I told you to be patient.
All right.
I'm waiting for my headphones. I got to tell up.
You did say that.
I'm waiting for our headphones to charge. Now you're making me look unprofessional, Damon.
Man, don't do that, bro. I said you did say that, and I truly apologize.
Hey, look, you did tell us that you woke up on this. Are you still pissy? Is everything good? Because that was a joke.
Look here. I might have the Rams a little bit, man, but I worked through it. But you know,
go ahead and finish.
I think that's just humanity, man. We all go through some things, man, to where we have to stand up for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And that determines how you move forward in life. You know what I'm saying? Are you going to be weak and submissive, or are you going to say, you know what? I have a place in this world, and what I think and feel matters.
Okay. Corey, what do you think, bro?
I'm gonna say there's been times where I've been faced with situations, man, and nobody's like come up and like, you know, go, oh, before. No, I've done that to myself. You know what I mean? I call it gut check time, man. Seriously, when I'm in a situation, especially you know, like when I was playing football, man, when I was involved in a certain thing where I had to perform a certain way, and before I actually got it, and was smooth with it, I was troubled by it. So I held myself to that challenge. Said, man, look, it's gut check time now, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got a certain thing, you know, that it might be a small role, whatever, man, but it was small before you got it. But now you made it quite significant.
Okay.
So are you gonna stand on that, or are you gonna accept? And I've had great luck with that attitude. When I hold my own.
Yeah.
It's like when I go to the weight room, man, I die because I've always figured, man, if you don't work yourself to the point of breaking, man, ain't nobody else in the world got no business pushing you that far.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you break yourself. Can't nobody else do it.
Right. There was a time, man, where I remember when I was in high school, and I went home. This is how brilliant our father was, man. I was complaining they wasn't passing me the ball, man. And I was all in my feelings about it, and I felt defeated, man, because I felt like I was going, I was dependent on somebody else, you know what I'm saying, for my thing to happen. This man took me up to the Madison Square, man, that 12-foot rim. He said, dunk the ball, son. It took me like 5 tries, man, to dunk it. When I dunked it, he said, man, don't you ever come home complaining to me about ain't nobody giving you the ball or somebody else got control of your life. If you can't recognize what you just accomplished, what you just did on the spur of the moment, then you ain't gonna never win at anything. Recognize who you is, son. Recognize what you accomplished. You know what I'm saying? And then move forward with that. You know what I'm saying? Don't move forward in defeat at a loss. Move forward in what you accomplished, man. And you have to test yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? Your manhood is all constituted on what it is that you choose to achieve yourself, bro. Nobody else dictates that.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys this. I really think that, and I think it's because we are conditioned to feel this way, right? We're conditioned to feel this way, where we only look at one aspect of manhood, being a dog, being aggressive, being a leader, being that. I think people make that mistake. It's a mistake, and it's an honest mistake because society only accept and respect some. I'm talking about fully someone, even though they might be the dumbest human being and reckless. Someone who's the loudest, who's gonna take the initiative, even without a plan. See, y'all see where I'm going with this, right? Where there are so many definitions of being a man, but we only, excuse me, we only concentrate on one. Am I being fair when I say that?
Absolutely. I think you're absolutely being fair. I mean, because when I think about it, I mean, I've never had extensive conversations when I was growing up about how to be charismatic. It was all about how I could use the natural gifts that God gave me to kind of bash my way into success. But when I was faced with a situation where I couldn't bash my way, and I had to use a little more finesse, in the beginning, it looked awkward. I felt out of place, and I didn't like that feeling. So what I did was I found situations where I would be there, and I would have to figure out a way to navigate. I mean, as much as the world naturally challenges us, man. I mean, if we don't put certain challenges on ourselves, I mean, what's it all for?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I could feel, when I was younger, man, I'm like, if I could feel good about anything, man, it's my character. You put me in any situation, man, and I'm gonna fucking excel. Because that's just who I am. People call it code switching. You call it whatever you want to call it. I've been in some rooms. So,
yeah. Damon, what do you think?
Repeat the question again, bro. I want to make sure I'm online.
No, just the simple fact that we only we only judge the universal definition of manhood, right?
Right.
We only judge that, but is it fair to say there's many facets of manhood? That's
Absolutely, man.
basically,
Because
yeah.
you think about, man, if it's universal, you trying to be like Mike, man. You know what I'm saying? That's somebody
Okay.
else's life, man. You mimicking. You know what I'm saying? I want to see where my skill set lie in this man groundwork he already laid, man. And that absolutely has nothing to do with your own personal life, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Has nothing to do with it. You're just trying to be like somebody. Either you pass or you fail. Ain't that many people like that, brother. You know what I'm saying? So can you get lost in that? Can you get derailed? Absolutely, man, because you're not thinking about your circumference and your surroundings, because there's people that's looking up to you in real life. In real life, it's not sensationalized, man. It's just everyday life, man. Hey man, he worked hard to get in college without a scholarship. And was successful at that. It's absolutely levels, but your level is what's most meaningful in terms of your own life, man. You know what I'm saying? And you could be not on that level, but on the level you're on in terms of your family and your surroundings and your friends, and be somebody that they can admire and say, damn, you know what? Hey, he did it. I can too. And it's more, it's, sustainable. And not only that, realistic, everyday living, everyday
Do you
life.
think that?
Imagine this, man. Go ahead, bro.
I was just going to ask you, Damon. Do you think that's something that a person can learn through examples, or do you think that's something you could actually teach a person?
I think it's something that you have to do, man. You have to get into the fray, bro. You have to fail at something, man, to learn from it, gain wisdom. You know what I'm saying? That's your own personal experience. That's not universal. That's just your shit. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to address that, because it's you looking at your failures. It's you looking at where you missed the boat. It's you looking at where, man, I should have done this. And when it comes to the individual person, man, that's the thing that matters most. You know what I'm saying? It's me. You know what I'm saying? I played basketball, bro, but I didn't do it to my best ability. It was just something I done because I was shown that, this is an avenue you could take. If I would have thought about what it is that I was really, truly interested in, man, I wanted to be a college professor. Had nothing to do with basketball. Basketball was an avenue I could have took to put me in a position, but after that, it involves other things. You know what I'm saying? You had to make sure you pick the right field to go into, something that you felt inspired by, something that gave you passion. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't got nothing to do with basketball. It's the individuality of it, man. You know what I'm saying? What makes you want to get up every day and say, you know what? I want to do this because I like it. And it's going to keep my interest. I got bored with basketball, man, my second year in college. I just did it because I could. Then, if I'm going to be honest with myself, I should have stopped playing basketball and focus on the academics and focus on what I really wanted to get into. And who knows what that would have led to. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I wouldn't have, I'm not going to say doubts for lack of a better word, but I still hold out hopes and aspirations of being in that position. And like, man, inspiring other kids, man, being an example, teaching, and stuff like that. I'm still inspired about that. Basketball, I think I accomplished what I put into it. You know, and that was about it. You know, that's what what it was for me. You know, and I know I'm rambling, man. I'm just saying it's all about the personal aspects of life, man, and the trials and tribulations and the struggles you go through.
I totally get you, man. I don't think you can. But I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. When I was, y'all know when I was a little kid, there was times when I seemed a little dark. You know what I mean? And I think about those times, man, and what I wanted to do with my life around those times and everything, man. I was, I mean, yeah, it was sort of like a role, man. I think that's why I wanted to get into acting. But I was
Of
just,
course.
it was like a part. And every time I got criticism for it, I kind of doubled down on it, you know, and the different shit that I actually like, genuinely like, or whatever, tied into that whole persona, man, the whole persona. And when I got older, I kind of figured out that I didn't need to act in my real life, but I needed to be somewhere where I could express that shit. That's why I got on the stage at 28 years old,
Hmm.
and it worked.
I mean,
It worked.
solitude does that to you, where it takes you down roads that may not necessarily be you, but you are experimenting, you are doing all these kind of things. I remember we used to joke about it when you had the cut off hoodie and had your arms out. And y'all said, yeah, Jaquari went you going through the biker stage. You know what I'm saying?
The biker vampire hunter stage. That's what it was. That's what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
That's real,
Fuck,
I
man.
know, and
I
you know
talk
what's
about it.
real
Hey,
because you were collecting a whole bunch of knives. Yeah,
I saw
Yeah.
all the comic books, man.
look, and not once did I think you was unhinged. You know what I
I
mean?
didn't
Because
either.
I watched you grow up, so I knew you had a purpose in everything that you was doing. But
It was
But
a
no,
lot of
nobody ever did.
fearlessness in that.
Yeah,
yeah,
nobody. No, but that's my point. Nobody ever like. I mean, I would get like, what are you doing? But like, as far as like, being shunned for it,
yeah,
never happened. Never happened in the
yeah.
house. Never
Right.
happened in school or
No,
anything.
yeah, that's
That
real.
that
That's real.
that was. I'd be around my friends and they'd be like, "That's just the Corey thing."
That's just him.
But you
Yeah,
know what I mean? And they, and they, because they had their things too, But when at the end of the day, you know, and everything boiled down or whatever, man, we would be somewhere drinking 40, talking about the day,
Mhm.
and just a lot of those times, man, those were times that defined who we were as men.
Yeah,
Let me ask y'all something, man. A young brother that impresses the hell out of me, man, is and it took me a minute why I was so drawn to this young brother, man. That cat, I know Speed. You know who I'm talking about?
I show speed.
I show Speed. You
I
know
mean,
who he
he's a
is?
streamer. He's one of the biggest streamer in the world. Young black man from Ohio. Yeah, I know exactly
Have
what you're
you
talking about.
ever seen a brother, man, who's just living his life, man, and
And that's
taking on
exactly
all challenges, man?
what he's doing. He a little thrown off, but that's exactly what he's doing, bro.
What
He's
what
living his life.
what makes him thrown off, bro?
No, it's intensity because he's never, he had a hard life. You know what I'm saying? As
Man,
far as his parents splitting up and all these different things
yeah.
happening to him. But the thing about it is he's a great athlete, but I think he has a anger management problem. But he's able to pour into his streaming, right?
He found that niche, didn't
He did, and it's made him a multi-millionaire
he?
because of it.
Man, bro,
Yeah,
if that's not a template, I don't know what it is, bro. Because I'm telling you, I got in college because I was an angry ass brother, man. You know what
I
I'm saying? I
mean,
got in college because people told me I couldn't do it.
I'm gonna tell you,
This
the
young
thing
brother
about
take
it,
it to a whole nother level, man.
anger is a anger and aggression can be very good tools if you understand what they are. They are natural emotions that you need to, once you understand why you're angry and why you need to be aggressive in certain situations, it can help you. You know what I
And
mean?
you parlay that shit into some millions? That's
Yeah,
crazy, bro.
yeah, yeah.
That's crazy, man. I'm
But you
impressed
know
by that young brother, man.
what he ended up doing, he was he put in a lot of hard work. It's, I mean, look, it's in front of a camera, but it's a lot of hard work just being in front of the camera. You know what I'm saying? And showing your personality. You know, um, okay. I had something while you guys were talking. I had something that I wanted to end this on this little segment on. I can't. I'll come back to it. But but yeah.
Yo, excuse me for a minute.
So Jaquari, like the many facets and what makes you want to prove something to other men, like your friend group, or if you're a part of some kind of organization, gang, or some kind of clique where you're peer pressured into proving that you're that guy. You know what I mean? And some people use it, use that word manhood to inflict punishment because they've been punished in their life in whatever degree of punishment that they had. You know what I mean? So it's like I think it's a tricky thing. You know, that's why I think it's a lot of things that surround all of that. You feel me? I just really do. And I know what it is. When Damon comes back, here's the question. Name different parts of personalities that you think that you put in a category as being a good man standing 10 toes. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. Um, when you have a man who falls in love with a woman and she has children and you embrace them children and you take those children in and treat them like they're your own, I think that's a hell of a man to me. I've always thought that. You know what I'm saying? I think that when you have a little cousin or nephew or somebody who you know will benefit from a man's attention, and you take them in, bring them within the fold of your children, or you go to him like, hey, come on, man. No, we ain't doing nothing in particular, but you hanging out with me today. And you do that for years until that young man goes forth and get on his feet because you're doing two things. You're planting the seed in him to pay it forward to other kids or to make sure that he is there with his children. You feel what I'm saying? So, Damon, this is the last thing, and we're going to do it real quick, guys. What, and Malika, if you have a comment, please comment for us because we want to know a woman's point of view. Many types of personalities, Damon, right? What are examples or who you personally think when you see them and you confirm that they're doing this particular thing that are men in your eyes? And the example that I gave was the example I gave Damon was when a man falls in love with a woman, right? And she has children, and he brings them children close to him. And he takes care of those children throughout his life, right? I see that as a man.
You
I
talking about
admire that. Go ahead.
You talking about children you talking about children they bear together or
No, that's
stepfather
not
type
his.
thing?
That's why I said. That's why I said
Okay.
the woman he falls in love with already has children. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or an uncle or older cousin, or a cousin the same age where you see your relatives trying to find their way. Even if it's not don't necessarily have to be a boy, but a little girl too, where you show up for them. You feel what I'm saying? You
Right.
show up for them. I see that as a man. Can you guys think of
Absolutely.
any other examples? And don't steal my two. No, I'm just kidding. But go ahead.
Wow.
In regards to little cousins and everything, man, I'm gonna give you one, and it bites you, it bites the shit out of you, man. But it's just honesty, man, because before I moved, to this day, man, I wasn't there for a lot of our little cousins, man. I wasn't. They went through a lot of stuff, man. I was older cousin up to a point. Especially the ones who used to stay, at grandma's house with us, over periods of time or whatever,
Yeah.
man. It was tight, But I was, I was spinning, spinning, man. Just trying to
You
hold
were
on to
trying to
something.
live. You were
Yeah,
trying to
but
live.
I had no direction, no direction, no
I get it.
direction.
I get
And
it.
it's,
And plus, you
it,
you
it,
were a young man.
it's just,
I'm not making excuses for you. I'm saying to you what
I know.
I saw.
No,
That's
I just
all.
said, yeah. But that's just, I mean, it's just me being honest, man. I let I I let them down in a lot of aspects. Let them down because at a certain point in my life that I isolated myself, and I just didn't think that I was good for a lot of. I didn't think I could benefit anybody, man.
I
So
got you.
I can't.
I understand
I
it.
just like came in an automaton man who was just satisfied with the chicken shit when I could have
So,
been reaching out, man. I could have been a more positive and productive influence, in their lives and everything, man.
well, let
Maybe
me
in
ask you this. Let
some
me ask you
aspects,
this, Shaquan. Let me ask you this. Myself and Damon, when you were spinning, were we there for you?
I believe so as much as you could be. Yeah,
Yeah, but the point I'm making is
That was honest.
you was reaching out. We was reaching back to you because the age gap it is, and we wanted to make sure that you was good. You see what I'm saying? Because we had each other. We was a year apart, so we had each other. So me personally, I'm saying this is how this thing correlates. You know what I mean? I'm not saying yo point at me, big brother.
I
You a
get it.
man? No, cause
I get.
Jaquar, you a man, Keith, because you looked out. You know what I'm saying? That ain't what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that kind of reinforced what we're talking about is reaching out and just through conversation, just encouragement. But
Reaching out,
that
okay.
before we move on from you, before we move on for you, this is what I'm saying to you. What examples do you see that you would personally consider that? You know what
Like
I'm
I
saying?
said, that's why I said honestly. That's why I got into that thing. Honestly, man, perseverance, you know,
Mm.
uh, and flexibility, man. Honestly, perseverance and flexibility. Because I mean, it's as staunch and as rigid as our concept of particularly black manhood is in America. I mean, compromise is part of the thing that makes our world go round. Be we the head of our household or not. We all got
Yeah,
to, everybody under this roof got to figure out a way to make this machine go.
yeah.
Right. Right.
So what about you, Danny? Any examples of manhood that you see? I mean, you consider a man personally.
What I consider a man, is being consistent, man, and being true to your word and sticking to who you are without the baggage and shit, man. You know what I'm saying? We all can sit up here and talk about excuse me, what we were denied, man. We can talk about that all day. Those are things that stick with us, man, what you lost or what didn't happen. But if we're honest, man, there are plenty of examples, man. Uncle Kenny was one of the major ones. You know what I'm saying? He was
Okay.
one of the major ones. This brother, this man found time when he was working two jobs to be there, to be present.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we didn't like it, but we understood where he was coming from in terms of, I'm your uncle, man. Listen to me. Do it this
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was that guy. You know what I'm saying? That was an example. And through his example, you saw other people who was doing their level best, even though life got in the way. We had those men in our lives, man. That's why if you look at us, we're all successful as people, as black men. It was there.
As any man. But go ahead. Not to
You
correct
know,
you, but I want to throw that out there. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
just saying, I'm just saying, if you move past that anger and that, man, I didn't have it like other people, mindset or syndrome, man, you move past that, then you see people that was in your corner have fallouts and arguments with them, and they still consistent. They still there, never abandoned you.
That's a good point.
You can name a whole bunch of men in our family that was like that. You know, it's just how you choose to see it, man. You know what I'm saying? And being honest with yourself.
I get it.
So for me, I can give you many examples, man. You know what I'm saying? I just had to move outside of my bitterness or whatever I was going through to see that it was there. I just, you know, either you're going to take advantage of it or you're not. And it's the onus is on you. You know what I'm saying? You decide.
Yeah. 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 All right. Well, look, I appreciate your guys' input on that subject. So we're gonna turn slightly uh, from that, and I want your guys' opinion about what's coming on the screen right now. And guy and folks in the comments, please, I'm gonna leave it up on the screen. And if you have a comment about it, please let us know. So
Fine.
define what you think the head of the household, what you think the head of the household is.
Well, I don't think the head of the household, man, in a traditional sense, is just one person. I mean, it switches back and forth. You know, quite honestly, man, I don't like as far as like the bills and the money go in this house. I don't deal with. I don't deal with it at all because that's I don't want to say that was the example I seen. Growing up, Pop, he did what he did what he could to take care of business. But when he got paid, he'd take his little. He used to call it. They call it jack off money, and then he, you know, put the rest on the pillow. Like, hey, there you go.
Yeah,
And that's basically what I do. Like, I mean, but and the conversations I hear, like with coworkers and friends or whatever about how they, do the finances in their house or how they conduct certain stuff or whatever. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, we don't do like that. Like, take for instance, like a long road trip. Say if we was riding from Virginia to Michigan or whatever, and I'm talking to somebody, and I'm like, yeah, my wife do all the driving, man. What? What do you mean your wife do all the driving? You don't do none of the driving? I'm like, no, I don't drive long distance. So she do all the driving. When I'm with my brothers, they do all the driving. Uh, that's just not something that I believe. paramount to me being a man. I'm like, well,
What you
shit,
say, Spo? What you say, Spo? You on the drive, passenger seat. Hey, man, get me home safe, man.
yeah,
Do what you got to do.
yeah. I mean, you know how many
That's your job.
how many thousands of times have I entrusted you behind the wheel, baby? You know what I'm saying? But neither one of us should have been in the car at all, let alone driving.
Hey, I remember one particular time through a snowstorm. You looked at me like, "Hey, man, do you got this?"
You all right, brother? You need to, yeah. Instead of you want me to take over. I'm like, you need to pull over for a little while, brother. Because you got to get us through this. I done said that to my wife,
Oh,
honey.
I'm laughing, but he telling the truth. He telling this is real shit. Hey, man, you all right, man?
But when it's time, it's certain shit that I step up on, man. Yeah, I mean, as far as who runs the house, you know, I don't. I mean, I'm gonna say that I don't really think you can define that, man. I mean, not a functional house, because that's not fair. It's not fair to put all that onus on one person. It's not. You know?
That's true. I agree with that. Um, but go ahead, Damon. Uh, what do you think?
What I think of the head of the household is, man, is taking on responsibility. If you chose to be in that role, man, then be in it. You know what I'm saying? And that requires you not to be dominant over it and say, what I say goes, and this is how we're going to do it. But you inspire other people to be their best self, man. You know what I'm saying? Then we all gain from that. We all benefit from it. You know what I'm saying? Your role is not to stifle any damn body if you're the head of the household. Your role is to give them the confidence to believe in themselves, in themselves, man. You know, and I think you're doing the right thing in that aspect, man. You know what I'm saying? Not, I'm the king. I'm running this. No, you, hey man. So I need you to
But it,
contribute.
so let me ask you a question. If it's true, and you say, what's wrong with that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but to what end, though, bro?
No,
When do
not
you
it,
allow
no.
them to be their best, the best selves? You know what I'm saying?
But now listen. I don't want to overanalyze it, but my point is, if it is left up to you and you declare it, ain't that therapy? You know what I'm saying?
Therapy for you. I mean, but you trying to run a household, so it ain't just you. It's like for me, man. Like raising a daughter, man. At first, it's pins and needles, pins and needles all
Mhm.
the time. I'm going through her shit, like and all that. But then
Yeah.
I just stopped, and I basically told her like, look, hey, I trust you to be who you are, and you know, from that day forward, you know, that let it go of control for me. Yeah, I didn't, I was concerned about what she was out in the streets doing or whatever, man. But I was also getting sleep because I'm like, I told her I trusted her. So, you know, she's gonna go how
So,
far she goes.
so you just spoke. You and them over talking about, do you want to see me in jail? Do you want to see me in prison? You better choose the right motherfucker.
Yeah. You know what?
But you know what? That's all love too, man. Because if a child feels that you have their best interest and they know that you love them, then they gonna understand that you're not telling them anything wrong, man. Even though there's some type of rebellious whatever aspects behind it, it all comes back together and then it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then it makes sense, and then you say, okay, now I can rest because I know that this child is making the right choices for themselves. I know that my wife understands that I'm for her best interest, and I'm backing her out of the way, and she feels safe and secure in that. You know what I'm saying? And you just have to meet up to that challenge, bro.
I,
especially if that's your family and you feel responsible, then you gotta be who you gotta be, man.
well, it depends on your maturity and your personality too. Like me personally, I agree with what you both said, and I've done that. It's just like what my definition of manhood is: many facets to it, right? There's many facets to uh, the head of the household. You know, man told me one day, keep the sign of a good leader is when he recognizes it's time for him to follow. You know what I'm saying? And I took that to mean, and I feel as though I understand the meaning. I took that to mean is you don't know everything. You don't know everything. So you have to put on a listening and discerning ear, especially if you are trying to preserve your household and your family. You know what I mean? It's just me. Look, I can be the ogre. See, I'm gonna tell you, I'm selfish. I kept one thing. I kept one thing when it came to it because I'm a generous father, generous husband, and I make sure I'm loving towards my family, right? But I keep that if you hear in my voice, the inflection in my voice that I got a problem with something, you had better listen. And if you're not listening, I'm gonna make you listen. I kept that. You know what I'm saying? I I feel more secure in leading by having that in my back pocket. You know what I'm saying?
How much conflict did you have to deal with, man, with that mindset, bro?
First of all, it solves the conflict, bro.
I'm just asking.
Now I'm answering you. It
I'm just
solves
saying,
the
was there any
conflict.
pushback?
It's always gonna be pushback. See, you can't see you cannot not expect confrontation by drawing a line. Because that's basically what I'm doing. I'm drawing the line. You feel what I'm saying? That's what I'm doing. Because sometimes, no matter how great you are, if you give up too much, and if too much is given up to you, you don't appreciate it, and you take things for granted. And that's just my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? So, say my son, my grown son, my oldest son, right? He's out here doing reckless things at his age right now, and knowing that he and his mom, me and his mom, are going to do our best to make sure he's good, right? When I say I reserve that, hey man, it's time for me to be confrontational. Like, hey, you are fucking up, and this is why. Explain yourself. Yeah, I know you're grown, but if you are leaning on us, then I reserve that right to question that. You see what I'm saying? But if you live in your life out on your own and you're not leaning on us, I still reserve the right to actually ask the question without a demand.
But don't everybody have to get their head bumped from time to time, bro?
Look,
Isn't that gaining wisdom, man?
no, gaining wisdom is listening to advice, bro. That's wisdom. That's wisdom. Yes, you can bump your head. You can bump your head and you can learn from it. I get that. But what is the greatest wisdom? Me allowing you to bump your head, right? Or before you hit that a trip and fall and bump your head, and you listen to me say, hey man, watch your step right there. And you listen to me. which you see, I'm not weighing the two wisdoms. I'm saying if you can create an easier situation for someone, I really think you should. Now, if they don't appreciate it, now that's another thing. You know what I'm saying?
But
I
how
get that.
how do they appreciate it though, bro? Do they appreciate
By,
it by you telling them, or do they
yes,
appreciate?
yes, because I raised them. Not, I'm sorry to cut you off. I raised them to be the person that they are. So of course, yes, I say yes. But see, that's just me. That's how I feel.
You raise them to be the person they are. By definition, what does that mean, man? Give me. What do you mean by you raise them to be who they are?
Where's the confusion coming from, man?
Is it your
Because
expectation for them to be how you expect them to be, or
uh,
what their own personal maturation process?
first of all, it's a little of both, bro. It's not one or the other.
Okay.
Because when you're raising your children, you do have a standard to teach them to be, right? Yeah, am I being unreasonable when I say that?
I'm saying you have your ways, man. When I'm listening to you and what you're saying, and I'm thinking about my situation, and I'm like, I was surprised by a lot of shit, bro. I'm saying there were certain ways that I felt how things should have been, things that could have been avoided, but it happened. And on the other side of it, great things transpire, great things happen afterwards. And I'm like, damn, I didn't expect that. And I'm glad that this person, this particular child, understood and gained wisdom from it and put themselves on the right course. You know what I'm saying? Me saying it wouldn't have, I don't know if that would have been the case, bro.
Okay, so uh, to overly simplify, do not stick your hand in that flame because it will burn you. Fire
Oh,
burn.
okay, all right. That's obvious, bro.
Okay, see, but what I'm saying is obvious. You trying to me, this is how I see what you're saying to me, and I might be wrong. You're saying to me, hey, uh, uh, let them learn as you go and try to keep your hands off of it. I'm not built like that. I'm not built like that.
Okay,
I
that's
give my opinion because if I raised you, you understand that my opinion should be listened to. You know what I'm saying?
But
giving an
you got to
example,
be
man.
you got to be in the space, man. Like I said earlier, man, you got to be in the space where they can function without you around.
Right.
Now
But see,
the lessons
but go ahead, Javon.
they hear the lessons in the back of their head, man. But as far as as far as the practical navigation at that point in time goes, they're feeling their way through. So however you address the situation might not work for them. But you know, your words are always in the back of their mind.
But see,
Right.
that's all. That's all I'm
Plant that
saying is
seed.
I plant the seeds. But see, here's the thing: you plant the seeds, so you telling me that you're there in real time and you don't offer advice? Because that's what I'm saying.
I don't think that. I mean, I mean,
No,
I
I'm
definitely,
speaking in
definitely,
general. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You
yeah,
should always be present and offer advice.
yeah, yeah.
And if you think your kid is gonna bump his head, what do you do? And this is a valid question on my part. What do? You let him bump his head, then say, "Hey, you wouldn't have bumped your head if you did this."
But see, that's not how I look at it, man. I look
I,
at it
I, I
this
get
way.
it. Tell me,
Okay,
tell me how you look.
what if what
Tell
if
me how
I
you look at it.
explain
I'm good.
what if I explain to my child step by step how to navigate this particular situation and they fail? Then what?
But see, that's the whole point. I failed. See, y'all, you have to understand that I learned from the lessons that I was taught and the ups and downs of my life, right?
As hard as it is, though, not to cut you off, as hard as it is, though, Keith. I mean, that was your journey,
Yeah.
and
Right.
I think that's the like the culmination of what Damon is saying. That's their journey. That's
I did
their
not.
own personal journey.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't disagree with what he was saying. I
I
said to
understand.
him, I said to him that what I see is I reserve because remember what I prefaced it with. I said it's one thing that I hold on to, and that's my own personal preference. Was that you see what I'm saying? Where to give my opinion and 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 help prevent certain things from happening if I could. I reserve that because that's a personal opinion to me. That's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? I don't disagree with Damon, but just like I said, I'll let you guys know ahead of time. Hey, look,
Go ahead.
I don't care. I
Go
don't
ahead.
care I don't care if anybody agrees with me or not. But that's what I have, and I'll hold on
Well,
to.
I
yeah,
reserve
and
I
we
reserve
get
the
that
right.
part, but
I
go ahead and
reserve the
finish your
right to
point,
kick you.
Jaquan.
I reserve the right to kick you when you down. So yeah, and grind my heel in you. I mean, no, I'm just fucking with you. No, but I understand what
I
you're saying,
mean,
man. I mean, but
it's funny,
Uh,
but I understand your point you make. Go ahead and finish your point, Jaquan, because I want to hear what you had to say.
no, that was it. I was just trying to play funny, man. That's all.
I'm not talking. I'm talking about before, man, when you was not agreeing
No,
with
I
me,
mean,
but you understood where I was coming from.
yeah, I definitely understood. You know, especially with my particular scenario, man. I mean, there was I had limits on how much input that I could actually have in that whole scenario with upbringing a child or whatever. So whatever I had, man, if it was supportive, I had to make sure it was supportive in the right way. I mean, when I overstepped, I was reminded that I was overstepping. I mean, you
gotcha.
guys don't necessarily have that issue. Okay,
I
so as
ignore
far
it.
yeah, as far as as
The
far as
fuck,
Yeah, I do. Shit.
I mean, yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Look, I ignore it out of love. But see, but that's the thing. I don't go behind them
Ho,
correcting every step that they make. No,
ho,
because
ho.
sometimes if you're blessed, you're there in major moments to give something.
But Keith, here's this is my thought process. I'm asking Corey because his situation is the same as mine, man. He raised a girl, bro. If
So
you
what's
ain't
the
raised no
difference?
girl,
So
what's the difference?
yeah, why is it
Oh my
exclusionary?
God.
No, no, I'm asking you a legitimate question because you're raising children, my guy.
Okay,
That's what you're doing.
bro.
That's what you're
that's
doing.
Raising girls and raising boys is two different things, man.
Okay, so tell me something. In the grand scheme of things, other than them being male and females and emotions attached to it, because the boys hide their emotions and they go through changes later on in life. So look, I disagree with the exclusion. Oh man, you haven't raised no girls, so you don't understand. I
I
understand
didn't make
raising
that.
children.
I didn't make that
That's what
statement.
you asserted that
No,
because you said
what I asserted is what I hear you saying is a stark difference from my experience. That's what I said.
and the thing about it was it made no difference because I said to you I selfishly kept that. You disagreed with me. That's what you did, and I said
Did I?
okay, yes.
Did I disagree with you? I said I just said here and told you that my experience is different from yours.
Listen to what I'm saying. We're going
I don't
back to
mean
the
that in
actual.
I
We're
don't
going back, Damon. Damon. We're going back to the actual question because I said to you guys, I said, look, I ride with all of that, right? But I reserve one thing, selfishly reserve one thing.
Right. You came to that conclusion after you expressed how you thought and
No,
what your belief was.
Jaquari, what did I say?
I said that. I mean, and
I did say
just
that
just
in
just
the
just like
beginning before I said anything.
just like when I made
That's
my
all.
statement, you just said, you ignored it. When I said I didn't have that option, you said you ignored it. So I mean, yeah, I get it. I
Right.
get it.
Come
But see,
on, bro.
No,
ultimately,
no, hold on. I ignored it. Yes. Yes, I
yeah.
did. I do. That's all.
But ultimately,
So
man, ultimately,
what's wrong with that, Damon? You got this smirk on your face. What's wrong with that? I'm
Bro,
sorry,
this not a
Jaquari.
challenge. This not an argument or a challenge between
Then,
me and you. We having a conversation
fix
and we
your face
expressing.
then, brother. Fix your face.
Keith, you ain't the boss of me.
No, but go ahead, Jaquari, finish, man.
No, I wanna hear what Jaquay have to say, man. Finish your point, bro.
no, I mean, just trying to navigate that whole field, man.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, in the beginning, I was quite domineering. I think because I thought that was the style of parenting that was successful. But
Uh-huh.
I seen early, man, that being that way for me, it kept me out of the loop on a bunch of shit.
Gotcha.
So in
Gotcha.
order for me to be a little more deeper involved, I had to you know come to compromise with a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Facilitator, right?
And look, and the thing about it is I agree with that because some things I was kept out of the loop that I could easily solve, right? But see, I had a good partner who would come to me for advice, and I would give it to her to relay. You see what I'm saying? And that's all. Look, bro, being a parent has a lot of selfishness in it because what you're trying to do is raise your children to stand on their own 2 feet. You know what I mean? But look, let me do this real quick, and then we'll get back to you guys, right? Malika said our children should know we're here to help always. However, they don't get to make poor choices because they know we're their safety net. I wanted to make sure I read that because that's a good point.
But you know
That's a very
what?
good
No,
point.
to comment on that statement. The one thing, man, and this is just my own personal experience. I'm not going go into this long diatribe about it. But my point is this: man, there were some things as a man, as a young man, growing up trying to find his ways that I had to fight for, understand, and have expectations of, right? Because that was the expectation. We raising you to be a man. You need to be responsible and take care of. But in the process of doing that, I just so happen to have girls, man. You understand what I'm saying? So I could have this machismo and stand on stuff and have my whole chest out and be willing to whatever. But there was a certain side of it I had to be understanding with. And I had to understand where they were coming at being females and understanding that they need to be protected, but understood at the same time. I'm not going to protect my daughters and be this dominating male person and not understand that they got feelings too. You know what I'm saying? They need to understand that you need to pick the right man. Because if you don't pick the right man, I'm going to deal with the motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to deal with them. Then that opens up a whole nother avenue of shit.
Look at him.
Bro, that's just the reality of it.
He's showing his violent nature.
You
Come on, man.
you pushed a button. Bro, I had to live through that for 32 years, bro.
Hey, listen. And really and
Did
truly.
you hear what I said?
No, I heard what you said. See,
Okay, so every young man that came in their life, I had to show them that they didn't, they have to respect the man, but not bow down to this motherfucker in terms of his weakness in order to be a man or feel like one. You're not gonna disrespect my child, my daughter, for you to feel like a fucking man. You out your goddamn mind. I raised her.
Bro,
if I didn't put my hands on her, you don't put your hands on her, or you gonna have to see me. That's just it, bro.
Look,
bro.
Look, I don't want no future indictments when people look at our podcast and then they start digging in backyards and shit.
Well, hey, bro, I can live with that.
No,
I can live with that.
I want you to
bro,
be out.
I make that. Bro,
I make that freedom.
choice.
Your freedom.
I make that choice. Bro, I make that choice. As a father,
I get it, man.
With raising daughters, I make that choice. I don't give a shit about the consequences of it. You better come with some fucking respect. If you don't, it's gonna be a problem.
I get it. Hey, bro.
And I know that my child or whatever could be a certain way. That we can have a discussion about. But you domineering and say you gonna dictate this and dictate that, you ain't doing none of that shit. I do that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do that. I'm like you now. I do that. I'm running that.
See, that's my point.
And if you cross me on it, it's gonna be a fucking problem. And guess what? She gonna be right behind me talking about, yeah, whoop his ass. You goddamn right.
I get it.
But you ain't gonna just come in and raise my daughter after I did. You out your motherfucking mind.
See,
and I never put my hands on my child. Come on, man, miss me with all that bullshit. I'm a man. Look. I need to feel like a man. No, man, what you need to do is understand that you can build something like me and my wife did. Here's another example, motherfucker. Pay attention. If you can't deal with that, then don't get into it. And keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? I'm not diminishing nobody's manhood or womanhood. But if you're not coming correct, we got a problem, bro.
I agree.
And that's what I stand on. You ain't gonna feel like a man diminishing or make a mind look bad. Or being exploitive or taking advantage. I hate pimps. Fuck all you niggas. Now what?
All right. That's a great.
I said that for a reason, bro.
Yeah.
I said it for a reason.
Listen. On the screen, Malika said, which makes a good point, and it's a point to you and Jaquari, Danny. She said raising boys and girls is different. Raising two girls or two boys is different. She said, y'all were Uncle John and Aunt Margie's boys. You all are very different. You had different needs, personalities, and gifts. You parent those things differently, differences differently, which is true. But I wanted to put that out there because, it wasn't the fact that I disagree with you guys, because I can't tell you how, your experience when raising young ladies. Now, I wouldn't even dare try to do that. You know what I'm saying? But my gray hairs would be so fucking gray, I couldn't use to die.
Hey, Keith, I told my girls that. I said between my brother Keith and my dad, they couldn't raise no girls.
No.
They couldn't do it.
Hold on. No, John was very gentle with our female cousin. I noticed that about him.
True.
I noticed that about him. And me, I get that.
You couldn't, man.
I'm a nurturer. I'm a nurturer by nature.
That's not me trying to make you look bad. Bro, you just, when it comes to them girls, man, I see how you treat your nieces, man. And it's like, oh my, hey, bro, calm down. You know what I'm saying? Me and Jaquay got to be calm. We got to be rational with the shit. You know what I'm saying? We have to find avenues respectfully and say, you know what? Hey, try this. You know what I'm saying? If it don't work on your behalf, then we'll come up with something else. You coming guns blazing. You coming in with
Man,
guns blazing. All right, Murph, okay.
no,
You
I
know what I'm
mean
saying?
you gotta think about it.
You
What people
there's a certain amount
what
of humility, man, that comes with that
no,
shit,
I
though.
get it,
Real
I get
talk.
it. But I can be charming when I want to be. No, but Malika has
I
something
don't
on the
say it,
table.
but hey.
Well, you're not a girl. Hey, look, Malika says, woman's point of view, Fluke, your girls probably value certain characteristics and mean because of you. However,
Yeah,
ultimately, they will decide what they're attracted to. It
yeah,
may or may not be happy for you may or may not be happy with their choice.
yeah. That's life.
Yeah.
That's life. You know what I'm saying? But I don't go in guns blazing talking about, man, that was dumb as hell, man. Man, you got play. I don't go in with that shit. I'm like, damn, man, how that shit make you feel, man? Does
I
that make
mean,
you feel whole as a woman? Is that the right motherfucker? I mean, you tell me. You know what I'm saying? I'm for you. I don't say you happy.
I
You know what I'm
got
saying? You decide what man you gonna choose in terms of your feelings, man. I don't see you happy.
you.
You complaining and shit and all this. I mean, that wasn't my experience, but I'm just saying in general.
You
Man, he
complaining.
did this and he did that. I'm just not happy.
Hey, look,
Okay.
and
What you learn from it?
you sitting there with the remote in your hand, and you press pause and just wait. You know what I'm saying?
I
Get it
don't press
all out,
pause.
baby.
I don't
Get
do
it
that.
all out, baby.
You know what I gotta do? Because my woman felt safe in in my ward, because what I gave her, you know what she gonna do? Fuck that. Hey, where my thing at? Let's go. That's what it is.
Gotcha. I got
There ain't finna be no going back and forth, arguing, none of that shit. You called me, told me you wasn't happy. Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. Now when it's all said and done, we might not come to the same accord, and you stay. Then that's your responsibility. But at least know that we showed up when you said you was tired.
you. Yeah. Yeah. All right. This opinion based. This is nothing that I'm declaring, but this is something that I'm asking. Do you think the black household is broken?
Hell no. No. We survived all the bullshit and we still together. Voting at 92 and 87%. Hell no, we ain't broken. That's propaganda. That's another motherfucker's lies and shit. That just so happen to be something that we have to fight against every day. But at the end of the day, we still together, aren't we? The world tells us that we're not. And that's a lie. We are. There's this constant thing that tells us that we're not. And it's bullshit. And if you really think about it, bro, in your own personal life, you see the damn difference. It's just so happened that we don't speak out enough. I don't know if it's because of fear or conditioning or whatever the fucking case may be. We still there. We still run shit. Why you think we are the most attacked motherfuckers? Everybody copies us, mimics us, do what we do. We set the standard of the world, but we still are the main people that's attacked. And we don't fuck with nobody. We destroy each other, but are we Trump? Do we bomb other countries and shit? We don't have the capacity to do that.
I love you, man. You always find that room for some politics. My man. Jaquari, what do you
It
think?
is what it is, man.
Yeah, I definitely don't think the black household is broken, man. But there are some aspects that I believe could be tweaked. I mean, what what kind of household should we be trying to run? I mean, you go back to examples on the continent or whatever. You got polygamy, you got this, you got that. And some of those things just probably wouldn't work in American society. A lot of black families, man, that I know, middle class black families, man, are basically trying to, chase that American dream, whether they want to admit it or not. They want to have
Yeah, we all do.
the white picket fence and a nuclear family or whatever, but does that work for us? We're as a community of men, a community of black men, we are forced to deal with social, political, and environmental ills each and every day. We're always expected to have answers to certain questions when it comes to urban living. You
Okay.
know what I mean? It's a bitch to navigate, man, and I don't think the framework that we've gotten used to is the correct framework. I mean, there's like I said, man, for example, man, activism. Man, how much should black men be involved in community activity, positive community activity? A lot, a
A
lot.
lot, I believe. I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot.
And what excuses do we use for? Like because the church, the black church, as wild as it could be sometimes, they're at the forefront of some of these things. But a lot of
Hmm.
black men don't. A lot of black men don't go to church.
You're right.
And why is that? So there's something wrong with like we're doing like things that are not necessarily beneficial for our household, but those are the things that have those things have propelled our household, you know, within this system,
Okay.
you know. So I mean, yeah, we can be highly successful working within other systems or whatever, but what's it going to take for us to establish our own system? I mean
Got
that would mean a bunch of shit, man. We have to measure success on every level in a different way, and I don't think we're ready for that.
So, Damon, is it fair to say, compared to the traditional sense, that the way the black household now has morphed into something different than the traditional sense? That
What is
that it
it?
is that is not broken, but is morphed into something else that needs to be defined.
To me, it's already defined. It's naturally built in, man. And
Okay.
this is what I mean by that. Is that when we think as black men, how we were, right? And the things that we went through and we gained wisdom from, right? It took us a minute to understand that. But when you do it, if you did a survey of men that's in the teens to late 20s up to 35 years old, when they get to 35 years old, we are traditional, man. I don't care if you went to prison or whatever. If you had the wherewithal to understand that, you know what, I want to have a life, I want to be productive, I want to be whatever, and you get yourself out of prison and you 35 years old or older, you have a job, you raising your kids, you're doing your level best to be what you can be. Do not hold against us as people who are going through things at a young age, making mistakes and learning from that you don't hold against yourself in other communities. That's bullshit. That's everybody. We all learn from that shit, man. Eventually. If you did a survey with cats and black men 35 years and older, most of those guys, the majority of those guys are taking care of business, no matter whether or not they've been to prison or whatever. Coming out of prison and becoming a garbage man. And you handling business and you taking care of your grandbabies because you learn from it. You know what I'm saying? We don't get that latitude, man, that we learn from shit. They just hold against us our discrepancies and shit at a young age. You know what I'm saying? White people are killing just as many of them as black people too. You know what I'm saying? It's all equal, man. At the end of the day, we learn from our shit and we are good. We support our women. But if you choose to listen to the propaganda and the bullshit, you know what I'm saying? It's a difference between listening to a sister who say, you know what, I rode with this brother, now he good, now our life is good, as compared to a situation where people are just going through some shit out of anger and being despondent and just spewing anger. You know what I'm saying? You don't vote 97% of women and 87% of black men and act like we ain't together. That's a lie. That's more than anybody. When you look at the demographics in terms of voting, we are more together as people, as man and woman than anybody else. We are. And
I think,
go ahead, bro.
no, I was gonna say, I mean, I think we, as much as we accuse other cultures, man, the black community is become satisfied with adjacents, man. When the goal was equality. If you
Right.
know what I'm saying.
Elaborate on that. What do you mean?
Right.
Like you take the most for example, the most conservative black voice on this platform, man. There's a certain amount of wanting to have the same rights and privileges as the majority that we want in a household. I've always said it, man. We want to run our, that's the American dream, man. That's the only picture that we have. Is this fucking Rockwellian outlook of how our families are supposed to be. You know what I mean? That's one of the reasons why as I've gotten older, man, as far as like black art goes, black aesthetics, I've really gotten into those, man, because they tell our story. I mean, we've always leaned on others, man, to kind of like dictate what our story is. And Damon says it all the time, especially for black men, we are not a monolith. Absolutely not a monolith. There's still a large black cowboy community in America. They do the roundups all the time, man. Who knew that before they started singing about it on songs or whatever, and made it popular, made it a thing. Things people have been doing those things for years.
Right.
And they weren't irrelevant just because we didn't know about it. Think about how many black farmers there are in America, man.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yep.
But that's just one aspect of it. And who's to say that their way isn't the right way? Self-sustainability.
It is the right way, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean,
With a little sprinkle of money in there, but yeah, it's the right way. Shit.
Here's what's crazy to me. And both of y'all can attest to this, man, because it's personal and it's about our family, our personal family, right? I can go back as far as our grandfather, who's saying, and Uncle Will and those people, right? Uncle Will came up through segregation and all that shit, right? He had 68 fucking acres and a business on the side. Granddad retired from 2 jobs, university and was it GM, whatever. Our experience, right, is middle class from the fucking 60s up to this point. We wasn't in abject poverty and shit. Were we? You know what I'm saying? And when we came along, the expectation was what? Go to college, get an education, continue to persevere. Did we disappoint in any aspect? So from our personal experience, we're not talking about abject poverty and none of that shit. It was about people being responsibility and holding their own line and being responsible and doing their thing because they were put in positions to be that. And we talking about going through the 60s and shit, 50s, 60s, or whatever. Back to the 40s in terms of grandfather. You know what I'm saying? Our struggle is not abject poverty and not having options. All of us had options, man. Be it going to college, be it the army, be it domestic work or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There were women who did domestic work and raised families, bro.
We came from we weren't in poverty, but we came from a working class is what we came from.
Working class. Who fell off? Where?
Bro, when you see when you say middle class, I think they made up that term in the damn 70s, you know, to do the Rizzy Dazzle. But really and truly, you're not in abject poverty if you have a meal every day. And we grew up with a meal every day.
And even then there was struggle. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the whole point.
Did we plant crops? Did we raise chickens and hogs and shit? And still was working in the factories and bringing money home? You know what I'm saying? Buying houses.
I get it, man.
Sending people to college. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me that you can't point over here on this side and say, man, that struggle was there and people was this and that and there was this struggle. No, man, people persevered no matter what the situation was.
But see, it's all objective now. That's your opinion, right? But then I probably saw it another way, and Jaquari saw it another way. You understand what I'm saying, Chief? I get it.
Okay. So it is subjective. I'm not making that claim. I'm just saying what the reality was. You know what I'm saying? When we were growing up, they were either working at the plant, they was working at the hospital, or creating their own business. That's what the situation was, man.
Hell yeah. Okay. You remember it differently, but I'm good. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying is the foundation was that. That doesn't mean that people didn't struggle. But at the end of the damn day, what wound up happening? People found their way, and they found a way to make things happen.
Through perseverance and optimism and faith.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
So I say that to say, what is our real struggle? Is it to continue to be where we were, where our foundation is, or to listen to some clown ass motherfucker to tell us that wasn't our experience, that wasn't our life? You know what I'm saying? You have to make a choice. You have to make a choice. There are expectations, and for the most part, the majority of our family did it. And it wasn't about no conservative, this and that. It was about motherfuckers grinding and finding a way. So I'm not caught up in what these motherfuckers dealing with nowadays, man. I'm not caught up in that bullshit because at the end of the day, no matter what happens, us being the people who figure out how to persevere out of pain and struggle and all that shit, we're gonna find a way. I'm not talking about relationships because that's just something that just happens, man. Either you're gonna find the right motherfucker or you're not. But individually, you're gonna be about your shit. And that's not a failure. That's an example. And my whole point is finding something positive out of what people are trying to convince you that you are. How the hell are you gonna go against DEI and all that bullshit, and then you hire the most dumbest motherfuckers on the planet to run the most powerful country in the world? This is a time for the real shit to come out. Pay attention. You know what I'm saying? We got bumbling idiots, man, running this shit, fleecing the country, con man, and all these motherfuckers, and they want to try to make us feel like we don't know what the fuck is happening, and we the motherfuckers that sustain this motherfucker, to keep it, you know what I'm saying, to make it what it is. You know what I'm saying? You have to make a choice within yourself and say, man, do they have control over me? Not really. Stock market crashed in the 30s and these motherfuckers jumping out the fucking windows and shit. What did black people who didn't have shit do? They persevered and found out how to fucking survive and be on the same level. It's not even the competition. That's a fucking fallacy. You checking me and my people and you have every fucking thing. Who does that shit?
Okay. So, last topic of the day.
I ain't mean to get on my soapbox, bro. You asked me earlier. I said, bro, I'm going through something.
Look, what the old head say? Somebody that pissed in your cornflakes in the morning. Hey, look, let it fly. Tell it how it is. I welcome it. You feel what I'm saying?
I'm like Charlie Mercer. Somebody got to die.
Yeah. So
I ain't fucking with nobody.
Last topic of the day, and I think this would be pretty easy. Can a household truly function without a man leading it? We'll start with you, Jaquar. What you think?
Yeah, it's happened every day, man. I mean, I can take hundreds of examples, man, where strong women, had to be there and play dual roles. Success. A lot of successful friends out of that particular scenario, man. But is it ideal? Being somebody who was in the house and maintaining a family and everything. I don't think it's ideal, but people make it work. And I don't even feel like that statement is giving the whole thing the respect it deserves.
Yeah.
Because God bless his pop, him being the man that he was, but if he wasn't there, I think we probably would have turned out, the same exact way if Ma did it on her own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we had hell, Uncle Kenny was there, Uncle Ronnie was there for a little while. Grandpop was around. I don't really have any deep memories of spending time with him, whatever. But he was there. But I have no doubt, like I said, man, if Ma had to do it on her own, it would have been the same dudes that we are.
I get it. Damon, what do you think?
I think that it could happen. I really do. I think it happened because there's a lot of strong black women out there, man, got sons playing in the NFL and NBA. You know what I'm saying? And those sons said, man, I'm going to make it because I want to make sure my mom don't have to work anymore. That is the case. The only problem with that is that they lose what the foundation is in terms of the strong black woman. Raised by a strong black woman, make it to the NBA, NFL, then you win somebody outside of your race. And I'm not being racist by saying that. I'm just saying, is there something lost in that, bro?
You think that happens with everybody?
Bro, I watched this whole team, man. I forgot what the team was, man. They showed these wives, all the cats on the team. They showed the wives, and all of them was white women or Hispanic. And you can't help who you fall in love with. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. It's just what it is, man. But you couldn't fall in love with a sister, man, that you grew up with. Or somebody that was friends with another mother who had a daughter. You couldn't find love in that?
Damon, go ahead, finish real quick because I'm getting ready to move this soapbox. Don't you dare, because we staying on subject. We're gonna stay on subject right now.
Hey, bro, all I'm saying is that, man, when you being judged by who you are and where you're coming from and people's opinion about you, you know what I'm saying? You mean to tell me that you said move on, we're gonna move on, bro. Go ahead and move on.
All I'm saying to you is this: you have your own.
Bro.
No, hold on. You have your own personal view of the world, and you might be absolutely correct from your personal point of view. But that question I asked you was, do you think they all do it? That's all I said. Know what I mean? It wasn't trying to debate you or trip you up.
Okay, to answer your question, the majority of them, yeah, absolutely. If you think I'm lying, do your own research, bro.
No. First of all,
how the hell?
I'm not gonna.
How you gonna build up your community, man? And
how
not focus on your community.
First of all, how are entertainers going to build up our community, bro? They are entertainers.
But by virtue of the fact that if you come from a small town like Albion, man, and you make it big time and you in pro sports and whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then you not give it back to that community?
No, I mean, no.
You don't think. If you marry a sister.
Okay, that now we're back again.
If you marry a sister,
yeah.
If a brother went and played pro basketball, right? Went to the Detroit Pistons, got a $150 million contract. You know what I'm saying? And he married a sister from Albion. What is that sister gonna do? What was a failing school, this non-existent school system? What is she gonna do? When she grew up in this community.
I'm saying
she grew up in this. What I'm saying is, if a brother who made it to the NBA, $150 million contract and whatever, and he married a sister from Albion, what do you think she is going to do?
I don't
with a failing school system in Albion, Michigan? What do you think she's going to do? She's going to convince him to invest in that community where they both grew up at, bro.
I get you. I understand. You know
what I'm saying? She's not going to deviate from that.
Okay.
He ain't got to worry about, as long as he doing that, investing in the community they both grew up from, she's not going to divorce him.
Okay, so
take half his shit.
Listen.
They both are going to be invested in where they were raised at, where the people who invested in them.
I get it. And you are absolutely right. So I'm not disagreeing with you. Here's my point of view. When I said entertainers, right? Even though we strayed from what we was doing, but I think this is interesting. This is what I'm saying to you. I call them entertainers because that's what they are. That's what they're being propped up to be, right? So the percentage of NBA basketball players say they marry white women, right? The percentage of black NBA basketball players is 1% of every basketball player that plays in college. 1%. And it's 0.00 something percent compared to the black population. So why do we give a hoot and holler about what they marry? And I'm not making excuses because I have my opinion about it too. But you love who you love. Why do we put so much weight on it, Jaquan? Like actors and singers and pro players, we put so much weight on who they're with, whether or not we think they're a sellout, where we think it's mind-boggling compared to the rest of the population. And then, to me, it's thrown in our faces is why we think there's a great deal of it. You feel what I'm saying? When I was young, I don't think like this anymore, but I was like, you're a sellout. Why don't you, along with Damon, why don't you have that sister on your arm, right? But then as I got older, well, maybe he ran into the wrong sister, right? Or that stardust got into his eyes and his throat, and everybody said, well, look, you need to get you a white woman. That's why I'm saying I didn't even want to get into this shit. Because it sounds crazy to me.
I can't
Because the
believe that.
majority, Jaquari, this is what I'm saying to you. The majority of us are with black women. You understand what I'm saying? That's the point I'm trying to make. Why do you define us by entertainers? And I love basketball. I love football. But if I'm not participating, which I did not experience that dream, if I'm not participating, you are entertaining me. Now it changes if my son is playing. Now I have a investment, or my cousin, or my niece, my nephew. If they're playing, now that's personal. Or a family friend. That's personal. You feel me? But just sometimes I feel like it's unrealistic how we measure these gifted people, singers, actors, pro basketball, football, whatever, against our community. So if they with a white woman, they are a rarity. They are not the norm.
The only time.
Now you can have your opinion, but go ahead.
The only time that bothers me is when that particular person, man or woman, that crap. That's the only time it bothers me.
You know what? You know when it bothers me? And I went through this when I went to Pitt, right? And one of my athletic brethren was, maybe with a white woman and feeling insecure because they're with a white woman, right? Man, she take care of me. Ain't no sister ain't never took care of me. That is some of the most ignorant shit that's I've ever heard.
I'm not even talking about that, bro. I'm not even talking about that.
Damon, it has nothing to do with what you were saying. I was just telling Ja'Cory my opinion about it. That's it. That's it.
To piggyback on my opinion, what I was saying, I wasn't talking about people you fall in love with who you fall in love with. I'm saying this. When it comes to us here as black people in this country, man, we are on the lower end of everything, right? Our sisters can't go to the hospital without worrying or wondering if they're gonna leave out the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Because people generally think that black women can tolerate more pain than anybody else. That's just factual, bro. You know what I'm saying? If a black influential couple comes in and say, you know what, we're gonna change that scenario. We're gonna change it because we care about our women. They deserve this. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take somebody who's influential like that to make that change, bro. That shit is the way it is because they think, hey, you know what? They are we have to carry them. You know, we have to take care of them. They own welfare and all this bullshit. All that stuff plays hand in hand. I'm saying, man, the only people that's going to change our condition is us, man. And we have to look at each other in a way that, you know what? We as a couple can make those changes. We as a couple can say, we don't accept mediocrity anymore. You know what I'm saying? We're going to build up how the hell we going to build up our communities if we're not there? As a couple, as an example for people to follow. No, most of those brothers in those positions, I'm talking about sport, pro sports, whatever. Most of those brothers in those positions seem to think that life is outside of their community, outside of themselves, or where the hell they come from. That's just fact, bro. That's why don't nobody give a shit about our communities. So it's all stereotypical bullshit, man.
So do you think the reason why these guys and young ladies want to escape their poverty situation, that's the reason why people, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, that's the reason why people ignore our community?
I think, man, because there are not influential people in place to demand these certain things. Yes, it's going to be that way. So, bro, how the hell we get in the position when we got a clown in the fucking White House to say, hey, you know what? Because I'm so fucking insecure, and because I'm threatened by black women, because I'm a head of the federal government, I'm a fire 300,000 black women. Because his bitch ass was threatened by that. Because black women was making changes in their strongholds, the South. So he's going to figure out a way to diminish that shit, to take away that power. Because he threatened this motherfucker. Supposed to have all this machismo and the strong motherfucker, and this how his side of people see him. His biggest threat is a black woman. This motherfucker has never won against a man. He won against 2 fucking women. And what was his response? Let's put him back in the damn kitchen and have babies. That was his response to that. He ain't about no competition. He ain't about none of that bullshit. He about, man, they had a nerve to speak up for their own rights and shit and fight against me. So let me get in power so I could take something away from them to break their backs. So what do motherfuckers? What do you do in response to that? You You build up your community, grassroots shit, man. Grassroots.
I have no doubt, man, that the Black community, man, someday going to be self-sustaining. But that's got to be the goal. That's got to be the goal. I mean, it was a devastating, that's a devastating statistic, David, that you use about 300,000 Black women. But it's definitely our responsibility, man, to find them places of leadership in our community so that they work for our best interest. That's the only way that that separation.
You have to have some
separation.
You have to have something in common with somebody, man, in order for you to even be in the fight, bro. You have to have something in common, bro.
I mean, and we definitely do have something in common, but I'm saying, man, that the separation from that resource, that national resource pool, man, is what we have to have. We've got to create our own resources. We've got to establish our own leadership. I mean, yeah, we definitely have strong leaders in the Black community who could lead, other cultures and be representation for the whole or whatever. But I'm just going to go out on a limb and say not yet.
Man,
not
how
yet.
the hell you gonna run on a platform about getting rid of fucking immigrants and people who's here illegally, and then go get and then go take something from people who hold the system together?
But that's just it, though, Damon. I mean, we've always should have had that expectation, even before it happened. We've always should have had that expectation as a community in the back of our minds, man. And we should have had our greatest thinkers, at whatever time, working on sustainability. We've never had a secure foothold on anything outside of entertainment in this country. So for us to lose the few things that we had really shouldn't have came as a surprise for us. It shouldn't.
But see, that's the propaganda, bro. It's not just entertainment, man. I just told you that he fired 300,000 federal workers who were in place to take care of everybody. Make sure shit was fair and equal for everybody. It wasn't just entertainment.
I think that was just one of the points you caught on to, bro. But I mean, I acknowledge that. Entertainment was just, like an implied example. I know we have.
It's the only example that people grab onto, man. That's why I said it.
I know we have great minds in all fields in not only this country but in the world. I understand that, but as I said earlier, man, I think we're satisfied with closeness to instead of equal to. Closeness doesn't mean equal. Adjacent is just that. A satellite or something. We're not meant to be a satellite to anything. Before we can establish. I don't want to use the word dominance, but before we can establish ourselves, as a world power, which we very well have the ability to be.
$1.5 trillion
world
in the community
within this country.
That flows out of the community, brother.
We have the resources for it.
Right. It don't stay. So that's an inflated
direction.
Right. So
we need a direction.
If it don't stay in the community, that's just like having a shiny quarter. It's just a quarter. But if you spending it and it's leaving the community, it makes no difference how many trillions or whatever that's there. It makes no difference.
So was I out of the bounds when I emphasized the fact that, you know what, maybe a young brother or sister who get the bag or whatever shouldn't look back at their own community and say, you know what, I can find somebody in that community to build something to lift up my community.
I asked you. No, I inferred that. I didn't say you was wrong at all. But what I did infer was, why would they do it? Why should they do it? What is the reason?
Well,
I mean,
I think the reason is obvious, bro. But you know,
what's the obvious reason?
The obvious reason is to build up your community, man. You know what I'm saying? And realize that you have something that you can barter with. You have something that people are building this country make decisions in terms of voting and all that stuff based on the fact that, man, they living off the teeth of our tax dollars or whatever, and we're not even that. It's just propaganda and it's lies and it's whatever. At some point in time, we have to start thinking about ourselves in terms of, you know what? It's not about, it's about competition. It's about building. Because how many dollars are siphoned out of our communities, man, in terms of our hair? We don't own shit. How many dollars are siphoned out of our community in terms of hair and in terms of all the different things that we buy in terms of products, man, that we don't even fucking own? You know what I'm saying? Think about that for a minute. You know what I'm saying? We keep this economy moving and functioning, and it doesn't affect us. We don't benefit from it. And when we do get to that point where we can make a difference, we look at we move outside of us, and that's detrimental. That's a problem. That's not me sitting here saying being bigoted and racist. That's me saying maybe we should take a look at, you know what I'm saying? Who can I deal with in my community that's going to build up my community because I have these resources? You know what I'm saying? We don't give out money to these entities, man, that benefit everybody else other than us. We're going to continue to be where we at, man, because we're not together. We don't think in terms of that. Everything is predicated on, you know what, once I get it, once I get my bag and once I this, I'm going to be on this side of things. And it doesn't benefit over here.
Trying to escape if it's a bad experience.
We have a tendency to do that.
The people who was able to have a strong family structure do come back and do things because they have more pleasant experience. But if you have poverty and you lived in poverty, guess what you're going to do once you get your dollar? What are you going to do? You're going to move away from what was that caused pain. That's how it is. So what you're saying makes sense, and it is a path to go to. But I'm also saying that small 1%, right, would rather just take the easier path. And I'm speaking just retrospectively and just they would rather take the easier path and just finally breathe. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's all mindset, man. It reminds me of a conversation.
You might be right.
It reminds me of the conversation me and our father had, man, one day when I was finishing up my degree and I was dealing with this teaching. Racists all get out. Right? Racists all get out. Everything he brought up was about some racist, bigoted shit, right? So I talked to our father about it. And he said something to me, man, that stuck with me. He said, man, is you either petty motherfucker, man, or are you insecure and shit? I said, Fuck him. This and that. I didn't appreciate. He said, son, man, do you realize, man, that everything that when it comes to prejudice and racism and all that stuff, everything that you go through in life is on the defense and shit. You're not being prejudiced in response. You being defensive because you being attacked. Because you feel a certain way about it. Have you ever thought to look past that bullshit and see him as a weak motherfucker and just be about your shit and say, you know what? In spite of this motherfucker, I'm gonna do my thing. Why are you feeding into this motherfucker energy because he's an insecure motherfucker? Why you feeding into the energy? You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part about it was I just needed these 200 level classes. I got all my required classes done. I just needed like 3 lower level joints, man, that I blew off. And he said, man, you just need these little simple classes and shit, man. Just get that shit done. And don't let this motherfucker affect your life, man. And realize, man, that at the end of the day, who you are and what you're going to do and achieve in life is going to supersede this ignorant motherfucker over here. You know what I'm saying? Don't allow this motherfucker to control your main objective, where you're trying to go. What it is that you want to build. Think about what you want to build. Don't think about some clown ass motherfucker who makes you uncomfortable. You got a good woman, man. What y'all finna do? And at that point, I don't think Danita was born then. What y'all gonna do? Are you gonna build your life and produce kids that's gonna make the next step easier for somebody who comes behind you? Or are you gonna listen to this clown motherfucker? That requires a motherfucker to have attention, man. That requires a motherfucker to have foresight and understanding that, you know what, if this is important to me, and if this is going to make my child or my grandchild's life easier, then that's the route I'm going to take. I'm not trying to escape a goddamn thing. I'm going to be about it. You understand what I'm saying? And I think if we all collectively start thinking that way, man, we're not taking resources out of our fucking community. Because that's what it is, man. We sustain the world. Everybody's monetizing anything and everything that's coming out of our community, and we're not benefiting from it. We looking for an escape. That's bullshit, bro. At some point in time, man, you got to take responsibility. You can't be raised by a black woman and then denounce black women. The fuck are you talking about? That needs to be checked, bro. People need to be held accountable for that. You can be raised by a black woman and then denounce them and say, I don't want to be part of them or have anything to do with them. Shame on you, motherfucker. Pox on your fucking house.
All right. Okay. I think
but me as a black man, that's how I feel. No, anybody, whoever hears that can judge me how the hell they ain't gonna change shit.
Okay, you made a great point, bro. So what we're gonna do is last words for the evening. And we'll start with you, Damon, then you, Jaquar.
When I said at the beginning of this conversation, I said I was in my feelings and shit. So allow me some latitude, bro. Real talk.
Jaquar.
Gentlemen, I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and I look forward to the next. Obviously.
It was definitely a treat. Malika, Lawrence, Keith Barnes, Joseph Green, we look forward to you coming in. We have somebody coming in next week, Joe, if you see this. So we're going to have to push it out a little bit. But Thank you for all your comments. Keith Barnes, appreciate you always, brother. Friend of the show. Malika, friend of the show. Lawrence, friend of the show. And family. You know what I'm saying? But we're here next week. We pray that everybody's safe, everybody's sound, and please tune in and give us what, tune in and show us some love. Malika has one final message for you, Dana. Says, Fluke, a lot of black men love their black mother's strength, while at the same time resenting the struggle they feel they experience with her. So sometimes they seek the opposite of their upbringing because it feels easier. And sometimes it's in a white woman. Great point, Malika. You know what I mean? It's a great view, great observation. But
It's an observation, but it ain't no excuse.
No, not at all. This is strong.
It's a true observation, but it ain't no excuse.
This is Strong Perspective Podcast. Please go to our YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe. Build our numbers, recommend us. We'll be here next Friday at 7:30. Everybody within this viewing, make sure you're safe. God bless you. People in the future, God bless you. This is Strong Perspective Podcast. Good night and have a good weekend.